Hey everybody, Cow here, back with some more Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour on Nintendo Switch 2. Let's get into this. We are going to check out Area L, which I think should be the final area that we have to look at. Alright, so I think let's go for it. Area L is over here, right? Area I is over there. Area L. Cool. I think this is the last place, because I don't remember seeing an Area M. So let's see what's up. Did you get all the stamps in Area K, the Joy-Con 2 wheel area? I sure did. You got every last one. Way to go. You can head on through. This is it. The home stretch. It's time to go inside the console. Oh. Well, that's cool. Oh, I see. Okay, that's cool. It created a pathway for me. It opened up the stand and now we're actually going inside the console? Huh. Okay. Is there anything over here? I could just walk all around the stand. Okay. It's time to go inside the console. I imagine there's gonna be a lot of stuff in here. A lot of stuff to find. Wow. Yep. Nintendo Switch 2 console inner area. There's 18 stamps. Okay, let's start finding them. Alright, stamps. Let's see, I can't walk along the cords. What do we got over here? It's a lot of random things. None of them seem to have stamps. Okay. There's probably going to be a lot of quizzes in here. How do I get up? Oh my god, there's so many, like, technological things that I don't know about. How do I get up? I'm just wandering around. I don't see any stamps. Look at all the quizzes. Oh my god, this is gonna be the longest area. And they said it's the home stretch, so I'm imagining this is the last place. This has gotta be the last place. Alright, here's how I get on top. Here we go. MicroSD Express card slot. The card slot is exclusively for use with MicroSD Express cards. Yeah, that is a lot of stamps. It's not the place with the most stamps, though, because we found more before. But it does have a lot. You can learn about MicroSD Express memory cards here. You find out how a MicroSD Express card differs from a MicroSD card, the speed of the MicroSD Express card, and more. Got it. Feel free to explore MicroSD Express memory card insights at your leisure. 5. Okay. A microSD Express card can be used to save various Nintendo Switch 2 data. Downloaded games as well as photos and videos taken with the capture button are saved to this card. It's a handy thing to have if you've run out of system memory. You can use a microSD card on the Nintendo Switch console, but only a microSD Express card will work on a Nintendo Switch 2 console. You'll find a place for it in the spot where you could pull out the stand. You just need to insert the card into the slot marked microSD Express and you should be good to go. More pins. Let's take a closer look at the microSD Express card. While it may look similar to a microSD card, there are key differences. You should notice one once you flip it over. It has a lot more pins. With these pins, data could be read and written in a new way. But since the original pins are still there, it could even work as a microSD card. It's actually compatible with Nintendo Switch consoles. Oh, that's cool. Okay, it could work on the regular Switch. A new way to read and write data. With the microSD Express card, the Nintendo Switch 2 console has a new way to read and save data. Compared to when you use a microSD card on a Nintendo Switch console, assuming a buffer size of 4 microbytes, the read speed will be about 8 times faster. However, different cards will typically read and write at different speeds. Some games may be doing more in the background than just loading, which means loading speeds may not always be around 8 times faster. Reading and writing speeds are getting faster. MicroSD Express cards only. The Nintendo Switch 2 console only accepts a specific type of card, and that is the MicroSD Express card. Take note that MicroSD cards won't work. The Nintendo Switch 2 console takes advantage of the speed at which MicroSD Express cards read and write data, and we'd like you to benefit from this extra speed as you enjoy new games. Although, that's not to say the microSD cards are completely unusable. If you still have photos and images saved to a microSD card that was used on the Nintendo Switch console, you could copy the data from the microSD card to the Nintendo Switch 2 console system memory. Got it? Less likely to get hot. The microSD Express card is fast. In fact, because it sends signals so quickly, it tends to get hot. Naturally, we've tried as much as we can to avoid heat buildup. We thought about where to place the microSD Express card slot, and decided to put it near one of the air inlets to help it keep cool. On top of that, we kept the microSD Express card slot farther away from other parts of the console that are likely to get hot. We even applied graphite sheets to the microSD Express card slot. These sheets are very effective at transferring heat. The sheets help spread the heat around, which keeps the area cool. Okay, I've read all the insights. You're qualified for a quiz. Let's do it. I know all about Express cards. Definitely. 100%. Which of the following can be inserted here and used with Nintendo Switch 2 console? MicroSD Express memory cards. What does it have more than the regular one? Pins. How do you read and write speeds of a microSD Express memory card? Compare with that. Okay. They are a lot faster. Not just slightly faster, they are a lot faster. What aspect of MemorySD Express memory cards do games for the Nintendo Switch 2 console make use of? The reading and writing speeds. Right? I think. It's a good option. The Nintendo Switch 2 console has been designed to benefit memory cards in what way? It stops them from heating up. Yeah, we did it. Not a single wrong answer. A tip of the hat for that. It looks like you have a lot of insight into microSD Express memory cards. Yeah, there are a ton of quizzes. Alright, we gotta do them all. Let's see, this has gotta have like a stamp around it, right? There's no way this doesn't have a stamp around it. I guess it doesn't have a stamp around it, okay. Is there any stamps over here near the words? There's no stamps near the words? How are there no stamps near the words? The words has gotta be something, right? It will just say like, you know, instructions or something like that. Alright, let's see what this quiz is. You can learn about Nintendo Switch 2 console's battery capacity here. You'll find out about battery capacity, past batteries from Nintendo, and more. Okie dokie, here's battery insights for you. Okay, learn about the battery. Okay. 1.2 times battery capacity. In terms of performance, the Nintendo Switch 2 console is several times better than Nintendo Switch console. Naturally, this means it requires more power. We've done our best to reduce the amount of power it uses, of course, but even after optimizing the console, we needed to get it more power. If we had used the same battery that's used in Nintendo Switch, you wouldn't be able to use the Nintendo Switch 2 for very long. So for Nintendo Switch 2, we opted for a different battery. This new 5220 mAh battery has 1.2 times the capacity of the old one. It stands for milliampere hours. Milliampere hours. Okay. An increase of 1.2 times doesn't mean you'll be able to use the console for 1.2 times longer, but we did our best to maximize the time that you could play on it. Battery longevity. We believe that video game consoles should be long-term companions. We'd like for you to be able to keep on using them for many years to come. That's why we did our best to make sure that the Nintendo Switch 2 console's battery lasts a long time. There are a few things we did to achieve this. We've purposefully tried to ensure that the battery doesn't get too much power when it's charged. If it did, the energy output would be slightly weakened, and the battery could begin to degrade. Also, it's easy to damage a battery with fast charging, so we've done our best to prevent this. Our focus was on how many times the console can be charged. We want it to be able to be charged even more times than a smart device. Nintendo and batteries. Nintendo has a history of using batteries to power game consoles. Lithium ion batteries in particular. Console battery life has been improving with successive generations. The Game Boy Advance SP has 600, Nintendo DS 850, Nintendo 3DS 1300, Nintendo Switch 4310, and Nintendo Switch 2 has 5220. Incidentally, the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance systems use dry cell batteries. In those days, if you ran out of battery while playing, you had to throw away the dry cell batteries and buy new ones. Hey, you read it all. Okay, I know all about batteries. Okay, I deserve a quiz, apparently. Apparently I deserve a quiz. Okay, question number 1. How much more capacity? 1.2 times. Why is the Switch 2 console's battery not supplied with too much power? It helps the degradation. Why is it not supplied with too much power? It increases the capacity? No. I don't know. It's either that one or the last one. What was used to power those? Dry cell. Ah, okay, yeah, it was the last one. As I said, I know all about batteries. Let me take this one again. Know all about batteries. I aced it. I just wasn't sure on this one. There you go. Perfect score. Well, look at that. You got them all right. I hope that quiz recharged your own batteries. Not really, but sure. Oh, before I forget, I'd like to introduce you to my associate here. Let me explain. Okay. He's actually my personal assistant. He's always by my side jotting down notes, though to be honest, I have no idea what he's taking notes on. He's a bit on the quiet side, but on the inside he holds a blazing passion. We're conducting an inspection of the venue at the moment. Okay, let's see what's up here. Is there any stamps anywhere? Here's a stamp. Wireless antenna right. Okay, so that must mean there's going to be one on the left as well. Just taking a guess. Random guess. Educated guess. There's one right here. Heatsink. Okay. Cool. USB Type-C connector upper. So I'm assuming there's one on the lower part. Just taking a guess. Audio jack. This area is jam-packed with info. It's very true. Game card slot. Alright, so I found my first minigame over here. Let's see what I could do here. Ah, there we are. 34 glittering medals. Breaststroke, floaty frustration is now available. Breaststroke. I'll explain. As you may already know, the Joy-Con 2 L and R are equipped with mouse sensors. This means that you can use two mice at the same time. In this minigame, you'll be using two mice, one in each hand, and moving them to swim the breaststroke. Swim as fast as you can to reach the goal. Sounds easy, right? Well, there's just one more thing. In this game, it's extremely difficult to swim forward. The trick is to make large, sweeping motions. That way you can propel yourself forward in bursts. Okay. So that means that must mean I need mouse controls. Okay. So I have to use both of them. I hate minigames that have me use both of them because I am right-handed. I don't know how to use a mouse on the left hand. Okay, I have to beat 10 seconds. Can I swim that fast? I can't even swim in real life, so I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. But I could try. Alright, I have my mice. Let's do it. Reach the goal using breaststroke. Okay, so large motions. How do I... Oh. I'm going like off the desk. I don't have much room to move. Hold on. Yeah, I really need to like... Will it work if I guess it kind of works if I have it on my lap. I'll try it on my lap. Let me restart. Large. They want me to go large and in charge. Okay. Okay, we gotta beat 10. Can we beat 10? We shall see. Why does it keep going that way? I mean, they did say it was hard to go forward, but still, I feel like it shouldn't go... Oh god. My bad. Turned around. I don't know why it's not, like, swimming as much as I want it to. Like, I'm moving them the same way. Okay, let me try my desk this time. Might be easier. Oh god, you guys could, like, hear me moving them around. That's tough, and my arms hurt. Oh my god. I hate mouse controls. I really do. My least favorite part about the Switch 2. I hate mouse controls. They're just so hard to use. Oh, I touched it with my hand. Okay, well, I almost beat 15. God, it hurts my hands. Like, it hurts my shoulders. Alright. Try again. Oh god, yeah, I got stuck. That was pretty good at the start. I just have to, like, catch myself before I, you know, make mistakes. Oh god. God, my arms get, like, weak. And I can't keep going. Because I start to get weak. Okay. Okay. It might honestly help if I, like, sit on the floor and do it. Because I don't think it works that well if you have it on your lap. Oh, okay. I beat that. I probably have to beat 5 seconds for the other medal. Oh my god. I just can't. Hold on. Give me a moment. Let me leave this. I need to, like, set up on my desk so that it works. Well, it's hard to use 2 mice. You're fast. I guess you could say that you went swimmingly. If you keep on going, you might be able to improve your stroke. Oh, I guess this is the only part as well. I thought there was going to be another part to it, but I guess not. Here's what we'll do. We'll have one on my lap and one on the desk, because I just don't have enough room on my desk to do it. So we'll try one on my lap, one on the desk. Okay. I need to go faster. Stop turning! I hate how it turns. Okay. Try this again. Oh my god. I hate how this keeps turning into the wall. I'm not doing that. Yeah, it is better on my lap. At least compared to what I was doing before. I don't know what I was doing before. Okay. Why are you going so slow? You know what I need? I think I need like a surface but on my lap. So I'm going to use the bottom of my iPad and see if that helps me to have like a smoother surface. Look at this. I think that's easier. Okay. Stop swimming into the wall. I'm so annoyed by this. Okay. I hate mouse controls. That's the worst idea they could have thought of. Let me know what you guys think of mouse controls, because it is hard. Like, why can't I just use one of them? Just let me use the controller I'm comfortable with instead of both of them. Why aren't you moving? Oh my god. This is frustrating. This is really frustrating. Okay. I beat 15, but I didn't beat my high score. Oh my god, when I get stuck on the wall, I can't move. Why do you go into the wall? Have I been doing it wrong this whole time? Wait, no, what am I doing? Okay. Like, if I keep him down and I just go boom, 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 that kind of works. I thought I had to, like, keep... No, never mind. It doesn't work. I thought I had to just, like, keep, like, clicking the buttons, but... Wow. Okay, maybe that is the strategy. I just hold the buttons down. And then just go crazy. Oh my god. Okay. That could be the strategy though. I go like this, and then I just hold them down and just keep going straight. Nope. Because then I get all mixed up. I go like this, and then just keep them down. Oh my god, okay. That just hurts my arm. It just hurts my arm. How do people do this? Swimming is hard, you guys. I can't even do it in real life. What makes you think I could do it in the game? Okay, here's what we're doing. I'm gonna sit on the floor. Or there's a dog bed right here. Maybe I could use that to work in my favor. But being in my gaming chair is not helping me. Why are you... God. Okay. I actually tried putting it on the floor and trying it that way, but it just didn't work. It doesn't work on the floor, apparently. Look at this! What is this? God, I'm so frustrated, you guys. There we go, this is how you swim. This is the real way to swim. Oh my god, I just want to go straight. I just want to go straight. I'm trying to go straight, but it's hard. Oh my god. Okay, let me stand up. Let me sit back down. Because it doesn't work. Oh my god, I just sat on the grip. It doesn't work. Mouse controls are the worst. Please never make games with mouse controls. Unless it's on a computer. With an actual mouse. Too slow. Okay, I quit. That is so frustrating. Because of freaking mouse controls. That is too frustrating. Let's just take quizzes. Do you know why the microphone is built into the console? Or maybe you're curious about the history of Nintendo's chat features. I really am not, but okay. That's what I wanted to hear. Here's microphone insights too. Okay. All kinds of microphones. The Nintendo Switch 2 console does have a built-in microphone, but you could also use a different microphone if you'd like. For instance, you could plug a microphone into the audio jack, or you could attach it via USB port to the console or the dock. You could even plug it into the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller's audio jack. You've got plenty of options, so feel free to take your pick. Whichever microphone you settle on, the chip will make your voice easier to hear. One microphone is enough. You might notice that the Nintendo Switch 2 console only has a single microphone. Sure, there are some devices out there that come fitted with 2 or 3. Having 2 or 3 microphones makes it easier to pick up a person's voice from a specific direction, but in TV mode, you're free to point the Nintendo Switch 2 dock in any direction you want. You're also free to speak anywhere in the room. This means that you don't need the microphone specifically pointing at someone. Also, Nintendo Switch 2 has a chip that makes it easier for it to pick up your voice, and it's customized specifically for games. Especially for games, so it could pick up your voice loud and clear, and that's why just a single microphone will be enough. Why is the mic on the console? The Nintendo Switch 2 microphone is built into the console, but we initially considered putting it somewhere else, like on the Nintendo Switch 2 dock, the Joy-Con 2 grip, or the Joy-Con 2. The problem was the microphone would only be usable in TV mode if it was part on the dock, but it wouldn't be usable in handheld mode if part of the grip. If we put it on a Joy-Con 2 controller, it would have made it harder for the microphone to pick up voices when you're using motion controls. We wanted to make the mic easy to use, and we wanted this to apply whether you're using the console in handheld mode, TV mode, or tabletop mode. Not to mention, when you're using motion controls, that's why we decided to build it into the console. Nintendo and chat features. When it comes to voice chat, Nintendo has a long-standing history. You need only look back on titles like Pokemon Diamond and Pearl for Nintendo DS, Animal Crossing City Folk for Wii and its compatibility with the Wii Speak accessory, Pokemon X and Y for Nintendo 3DS, Wii U Chat for Wii U, and Nintendo Switch Online Smart Device app for Nintendo Switch. Players have been able to use the voices in a lot of different ways. What's more, you could even talk with people far away using the light telephone released in 1971 exclusively to Japan. Nice, you've read everything. I sure did. You won't mind if I spring a quiz on you, right? I guess I won't. I guess not. God, that minigame frustrated me so hard. It was not fun. Which of the following devices can you connect a microphone to in order to more easily hear people's voices? Only the... let's see... all of the above. Question number 2. How many microphones are built into the console? 1. In which mode is the Nintendo Switch 2 console's microphone intended to be used? All of the above. What could you use to chat when using the Wii Speak accessory? Your voice? Obviously. Why do the others make any sense? Your voice. Like, that's how you use a microphone. The other ones made no sense at all. Like, why would you chat with telepathy? Why would you chat with paper cups and a string? The other ones made no sense at all. You got every answer correct. You might know more about microphones than I do. Wouldn't that be a thing? Alright. Let's see if we can find more stamps, because that's really what I'm into. Stamp finding. Oh my god, there's so many quizzes. So many quizzes. What's over here? There's one. Speaker. Right. Okay, so I'm assuming there's a speaker to the left as well. You can learn about the Nintendo Switch 2 console's operating system here. You'll learn about how Nintendo Switch games run on Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo's past operating systems, and more. Then let's get this operating system insights fully optional. Fully operational. The operating system. Not every piece of Nintendo Switch 2 software is a game. The console comes installed with software that's always running in the background. This is called the operating system, or OS for short. The OS helps game developers by making it easier to create games. It could also download software and update data when you're playing games, find out what your friends are up to, send out notifications, and more. The OS quietly supports games in the background. A dedicated gaming operating system. The Nintendo Switch 2 operating system is dedicated to gaming. In fact, that's specifically what it was made for. Operating systems found in smart devices and PCs are designed to do many things, but when an OS is dedicated to gaming, it focuses solely on game-related tasks. That's why it was designed to be small. This allows for more of the console's processing power and memory to be used on games. The Nintendo Switch 2 console is designed for playing games after all, so games are naturally prioritized. Rewriting programs. Inside the Wii U console, there's a Wii computer. This lets you play Wii games on the Wii U. However, the Nintendo Switch 2 console is different. You won't find a Nintendo Switch computer inside. The Nintendo Switch 2 computer works differently from the Nintendo Switch computer. This means that Nintendo Switch games won't work as they are. Despite this, you could still play Switch games on Nintendo Switch 2. How is this possible? Well, when you play a Nintendo Switch game, the OS adapts it to the way the Nintendo Switch 2 console works. It does so by rewriting Nintendo Switch programs such as shader binaries on the fly. When you play a Nintendo Switch game, the Switch 2 OS is rewriting things in the background. By the way, because you're playing a Switch game on Switch 2, which is not using the Switch computer, you may notice some improved performance, such as faster loading times and smoother gameplay. firmware. This isn't strictly related to the operating system, but there are a number of different computers inside the Switch 2 console and its accessories. The main computer is just one of them. For example, the Joy-Con 2 controllers and dock each contain their own computers. In fact, every single game card contains a computer. Not only that, each computer has its own software that runs on it. This software is called firmware. Because the Switch 2 console is designed for playing games, we customize each piece of firmware to make it easier to use with games. In other words, each Joy-Con 2 controller, dock, and game card run its own custom firmware. Nintendo and operating systems. Nintendo game consoles have had their own operating systems for some time, ever since Wii, in fact. Nintendo 64 and DS also have operating systems, but in these cases the OS is mainly included in the game software. Since the release of the Wii, the OS has been installed on the console instead, running in the background. It has performed all sorts of functions to improve your gameplay experience. For example, Wii Connect 24 for Wii, Street Pass and Spot Pass for 3DS, Miiverse for Wii U, switching between TV mode, tabletop mode, and handheld mode on Nintendo Switch, and so on. Okay. If you've read all the insights, it's time to give you a quiz. Alright, this is the operating system quiz. Question number 1. What's the name of the software that comes installed and runs in the background? The OS. What operating system does the Switch 2 console use? OS dedicated to gameplay. Dedicated to gaming. What allows Switch 2 to play Switch 1 games? It's rewriting data in the background. What type of software runs the Switch 2 computer, the Joy-Con 2 controllers, and other devices? Firmware. Nintendo has been using game consoles with operating systems since the release of what console? The 64? I believe the 64. Was it not the 64? I thought it was the 64. No, it wasn't the 64. Okay. We'll look at this one. Let's see. Ever since Wii. It does say that the 64 is there. Didn't the 64 come out before the Wii? I thought it did. That's why I put it. Because I know they said the Wii first on that insight. But I thought they were asking when was the first one. So I would imagine that it was the 64 because that came out before the Wii, right? Okay. It was a Wii. Alright. Perfectly done. That's a wrap. It looks like your own operating system is running at peak efficiency. Sure is. Okay, there's gonna be another quiz right there. There's a ladder right here. That takes me over here. Oh my god, what is this? Wait. This is the locked area. What is this? Did you get all the stamps? What? Wait, is there another area? Huh. There's another area. I thought L was the last area. I guess I was wrong. L is not the last area. How is there another area? I guess that's why I couldn't see it, because it was through L, right? So I guess that's gotta be area M. Alright. You can learn about the Switch 2 console storage here. You get to know about the console storage speed, past examples of Nintendo downloading game data, and more. I love it. Go ahead and check out Storage Insights. You got it. 256 gigabytes. Plenty of things can be stored in the Switch 2 system memory, from game data to downloaded games to photos and videos taken with the capture button. It has a capacity of 256 gigabytes. That's 8 times more than the system memory of Nintendo Switch, 4 times more than the OLED model. This means it's easier to add games that take up more space. What's fastest? When it comes to reading from and writing to the system memory, Switch 2 works differently from Nintendo Switch. Assuming a buffer size of 4 MB, Nintendo Switch 2 can read and write roughly 8 times faster than its predecessor. However, some games may be doing more in the background than just loading, so the loading speed isn't guaranteed to be around 8 times faster. Also, out of all the storage mediums that hold game data, it's the system memory that can be read the fastest. It's even faster than a game card or a micro SD Express memory card. Nintendo and saving downloaded games. Nintendo has a long history of letting you save games in the form of downloads. Wii, 0.5 gigabytes. Nintendo DSi, 0.25. Nintendo 3DS, save to SD card. Wii U, 8 to 32. Nintendo Switch, 32 or 64 on the LED model. And let's not forget about Satellaview, saved to 0.001 GB memory pack. This peripheral of the Super Famicom lets you download games via satellite. We've also offered you ways to download and save games for as long as Nintendo has been a household name. Okay. I think you've earned a little quiz. Have I though? Have I really earned a quiz? I don't know. Don't know about that. How many gigabytes of memory storage does the Switch 2 console have? 256. Which of the following is fastest at reading game datas? Sure. Which of the following was the first to let you save game data in the form of a download? It's Satellaview, which I've never heard of before. But that is what it is. Alright, we got it. All of your answers were correct. Great work. I'm so glad to see that you have full understanding of the console storage. Could I take a quiz without reading the insights, you think? Imagine that could be imagine that's a thing. Could I like take a quiz but without reading the insights? I don't think that's a thing, but that'd be interesting. You can learn about the Nintendo Switch 2 console's memory here. You get to find out the particulars of the console's memory, such as its speed. Okay, yeah, they actually do make me read it. But I just realized I've never actually like tried to take a quiz without reading the insights. So I was wondering what would happen. There are two kinds of memory at play here. One is main memory and the other is system memory internal storage. Both types of memory read and write data, but they're actually different from one another. Main memory is read from and written to faster, but the data is lost when the Switch 2 console is powered off. System memory, however, has slower read and write operations, but the data is restrained when the console is powered off. For that reason, the main computer uses main memory when it needs to read and write faster. However, it uses console system memory to store downloaded games. For example, the downloaded games on the console system memory are loaded into main memory before the main computer begins to write and read. Each memory type does the work it's best suited for. Bigger main memory. The Switch 2 console's main memory loads programs and data from the console's system memory. Main memory could also be used to store the results of the main computer's calculations. The Switch 2 system's main memory is 3 times larger than that of the Switch systems. This could be used to display more character models and create larger words. Faster main memory. The Switch 2 console's main memory has twice as much circuitry as the Switch consoles. It also uses a method that lets you read and write data twice as fast. So compared to the Switch 2 console's main memory is up to 4 times faster. It's faster in many areas and is able to perform more calculations in the same amount of time. Not only that, The Switch 2 console's main memory is comparable to that of smart devices. That said, on many smart devices, the main memory is found on top of the main computer. When it comes to Switch 2, the main memory is located away from the main computer. This makes it harder for the main memory to heat up and allows for additional circuitry. It's designed to perform a lot of calculations. Memory refresh. When it comes to the console's main memory, data written to the main memory will be lost once the power is shut off. To prevent this data loss, power must be supplied repeatedly. This is called refreshing. When it comes to Switch 2, data is not easily lost. It refreshes more than 200,000 times per second. Okay, none of that stuck in my head. So let's try this. Literally, that was too much. That was too much to read. None of it stuck in my head, in my brain. So let's see. Which of the following reads and writes data faster? Sorry, guys. But loses its data when the power is turned off. I don't know. Main memory. Just because I remember reading that a lot. The console's main memory can handle how much more data than the Switch consoles? 3 times. The Switch 2 console's main memory does not get hot easily because it's located away from what? The main computer, I think? How many times does it refresh? About 200, right? 200,000, I think is what they said. Right? I think they said 200,000. So we'll go with that. Oh my god, we did it. I did not know like all of those answers. But we did it. Nice one, not a mistake in sight. You must have retained a lot about the Switch 2 console's memory. I must have. You've read a truly staggering number of insights. Perhaps I'll share some tidbits about the tech demos. Did you know that if you press and hold B during an HDR fireworks demo, you could launch a different kind of firework? In the super resolution demo, you could use R to toggle between images instantly. And lastly, in the HG Rumble 2 motorcycle demo, you could press L or R to honk the horn. To tell you the truth, I wasn't aware of these either. The staff just told me. Okay. Good to know. I think there's a lost item down there. So how do I get down there? Because it looks like there's a lost item over there. Right? How do I get down there, though? It's right down there. Oh. No. I can't pick it up from here. I was gonna say I could pick it up from here, but I guess I can't. I don't know how to get down there. I could get down here, but I can't get down there. How do I get down there? How do I get down there? I don't think it's possible. Wireless antenna upper. Okay. Let's go this way. Could keep going this way, see if there's any stamps at all. Just looking around for stamps. Okay, here's a quiz. Heat pipe. Okay. Are you familiar with the SoC? How about CPU, GPU? Okay. I thought so. Here's Main Computer Insights 1. The main computer. What have we here? Why, it's a Nintendo Switch 2 console's main computer. It's what's known as an SoC system on a chip. This single chip has all sorts of capabilities. It acts as both the CPU and GPU, handles video and sound, extracts compressed data, shows images on screen, and interacts with the main memory and system memory. Needless to say, it's a very important chip. The CPU. Within the Nintendo Switch 2 console's main computer, there's a part called the CPU, Central Processing Unit. It calculates how characters move, switches from one scene to another. In short, lots of calculations are happening here. The Switch 2 console CPU is several times faster than the CPU in the Switch console. The faster the CPU is, the better it is at displaying lots of characters on screen, and the better it is at performing a more complex notion. The GPU. Within the Switch 2 console's main computer, you'll find the GPU, Graphics Processing Unit. Its main purpose is to perform calculations for drawing images on the screen. The Switch 2 console's GPU is several times faster than the GPU in the Switch console. The faster the GPU is, the better it gets at generating more complex and detailed images. Also, the GPU is where machine learning and ray tracing calculations take place. Good job reading all that. This is the point where I give you a quiz. Okay, hit me with it. Main computer. Question number 1. What 3 letters are used to refer to the main computer? SOC. CPU. It is. I just looked at the picture really and I just guessed it. Because these are the same pictures that you read in the insights, so. You don't even have to read the question. Just look at the picture. That's a perfect score. Way to go. Would you say that the main computer is one of your main interests now? Not really, but okay. Oh, I guess this means you aren't done with these insights just yet. Guess not. Alright, let's take the other quiz. So what are your thoughts on super resolution? How about ray tracing? What do you think of that? Presenting main computer insights 2. A sharper, more detailed picture. With the Nintendo Switch 2 console's main computer, sharper and more detailed images can be produced. This process is called super resolution. In games that support super resolution, the computer performs machine learning calculations and predicts what kind of detailed picture it should draw. This results in a clearer, more detailed picture. Machine learning calculations. Inside the GPU of the Switch 2 console's main computer, there's a place for performing machine learning calculations. This place contains what we call tensor cores. Using certain fixed patterns, tensor cores can perform multiplication and addition incredibly quickly. These operations are used to perform machine learning calculations. There are plenty of things that could be done with machine learning calculations. For example, you can make the game's pictures clearer and more detailed. Or you could erase everything except the people from the camera's video feed. Ray tracing. Inside the GPU of the main computer, there's a place that calculates ray tracing, which is a way of drawing images. This place contains what are called RT cores. RT cores can calculate whether or not there's light hitting polygons, and it does this incredibly quickly. In games that use ray tracing, these calculations can be used to simulate light reflections and make things look more realistic. I see you've read all the insights. I sure did. Okay, let's do this. Main computer, volume 2. Question number 2. Question number 3. We got it. I didn't really even read the questions again. I just looked at the answers. It's a lot of quizzes that you could just pass without looking at the actual question. Looks like you really know the ins and outs of the main computer by now. Do I? Do I really? I guess I do. Alright, let's go find more stamps maybe and look for more minigames. Let's see. Have I gone this way yet? I don't think I've gone this way. There's gotta be a stamp around here. There it is. Fan. Try not to get eaten by the fan, because I'm standing awfully close to it. Okay, looks like there's no more stamps in the area. Let me look at this quiz. You can learn about the Switch 2 console's heat dissipation methods here. You'll find out about the Switch 2 console's fan, airflow, and more. Nice, I'm so glad. Here it is then. Heat dissipation insights 1. Cool. Electronic devices get hot. Some electronic devices can heat up the longer they run. They can get particularly hot when performing fast calculations, communicating rapidly, or running while being charged. And using devices that are hot to the touch definitely isn't fun. But that's not the only problem. If the parts are too hot, the device itself may fail to work properly. Some parts could even break completely. To ensure this doesn't happen, Switch 2 cools down parts in different ways so that they don't get too hot. A quiet fan. The Switch 2 console does its best to keep itself from heating up. One way it does this is with a built-in fan. This fan funnels air into the console and blows it at different parts. The hot air is then pushed out to keep things cool. The fan isn't always running though. First it uses the temperature sensor to check how hot the console is. If it's hot, the fan runs at high speed. If it's not too hot, it'll only spin a little. At low speeds, the fan will be quiet, you could barely hear it. Try putting your ear up to the fan and listening for yourself. Air flows to the front and back. The console contains a circuit board. The components of the circuit board generate heat. These need to be cooled down. To do this, air flows to both the front and back of the circuit board. Both sides are directly connected via the air inlet, and the fan draws in air, ventilating both the front and back. And so, air components on both the front and back of the circuit board can be safely cooled. Easy airflow. To cool the Switch 2 console with air, the airflow needs to be as smooth as possible. With good airflow, the fan doesn't have to push itself at high speeds. Air inlets were made to the underside to let air straight in. At the outlet, the air comes straight out unobstructed. Thanks to this and the console's more powerful fan, Nintendo Switch 2 provides roughly twice the airflow of Nintendo Switch. If you hear me, it could only mean one thing. It's quiz time. Okay. I'll take your quiz. Heat dissipation. Question number 1. What happens to electronic devices as they run? They get hot. Which of the following is attached to cool it down? A fan. These are easy. Where does it flow to cool it down? Now that one I don't know. Where does the air flow over to cool it down? That's the back, right? I'm just gonna put the back just because the fan is in the back. So, how much airflow does the Switch 2 console provide in contrast to the Switch console? Twice as much. Makes sense to me. Okay, I missed something. Okay. Let's see what I got wrong. Front and back. There you go. Just gave me the answer. It says air flows to the front and back. Alright, try again. Heat dissipation. They get hot. A fan. Both the front and back. Twice as much. There we go. Perfect score. Perfect score? Too cool. You obviously don't have any built-in heat dissipation because you're on fire. Alright. You guys... But before you get too excited and forget, there are more heat dissipation insights to take in. Okay. You guys, I think that's actually what I'm calling for this episode. It has been a long one to check out this area. Usually we could check out an area in one episode, but this one is so big, it's gonna have to take up 2. So this is where we call it. Next time we'll go ahead and finish exploring Area L, get all the stamps and stuff, and take all the quizzes. And I hope to see you guys then.